Hi guys, it's Steph from IDRIVEACLASSIC, and in today's video we're doing something slightly different. I'm doing a bit of a vlog approach because it's not something I've done before, but I'm in my very favourite car, which is Jill, the 1981 Mini Metro. And it's my most dreaded day in the calendar today. It is the MOT, and I've brought her back to where she came from, so she's back at Little Garage Classics in Halifax. So today I'm going to kind of talk you through the MOT, how it's gone, and hopefully we're going to get a positive pass, because I don't actually know what's going to happen yet. I know there's a little bit of work to be done, and that's fine. I've been saving up for it, but fingers crossed. Everything I've got in the car, so I've got all the parts that I need, so I've had to send off to Greece, and bits have come from Huddersfield Auto Jumble, so there's a lot in the car ready to go on. There's a little bit of welding that needs to be done as well, and I do stress it is actually a little bit, it's not like a full floor pan or anything crazy like that. So I'm going to hand the keys over to Ed from Little Garage Classics, and hopefully she'll get a pass. So we'll see you guys in a few hours. So you guys have probably twigged that I'm wearing something different. I'm in a different car, which means that a few hours turned into a few days. So, look, I try and be really honest and transparent about what's going on. Some of the parts that came weren't correct, even though I'd ordered the correct ones. There were extra bits that were needed. There were other little surprises that came up. So it's been a few days now. I've been without Jill. If you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you probably know that I've been out and about. I've been on buses. Me on a bus, honestly, awful. And today I'm back in Mary. So, as you may know, Mary, it's not my car, but I share it with my friend Joe. It's actually his car, but I nick it all the time. And I've been out in Mary for the last couple of days. It's been quite fun, but I'm totally ready to go and get Jill back. So, I've had a call from Ed at Little Garage Classics, and he said, pop down, come and get Jill when you want. So, we're now about 10 minutes away from Little Garage Classics, so I'm going to start the car back up again, and we're going to head on over and go and get Jill. And as well, we're going to have a chat with Ed and just see what work he's done on the car, find out about any sticking points and stuff like that. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit of Little Garage Classics as well, because it's a really cool garage. They've always got some amazing projects in. So we'll pop down now and we'll have a look, see what they've been up to. Guys, I cannot believe it. The wait is finally over. Jill is coming home. So we've had a little bit of a rejig because there's quite a lot to do. Jill's going to have her MOT on Monday, but I'll update you guys on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So she's going in at 2:30 on Monday. So make sure you check the Facebook page. It's IDRIVEACLASSIC. Imaginatively, it's also IDRIVEACLASSIC on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll update you guys first there if she passes or not. So, as part of today, what I wanted to show you was Little Garage Classics as well. So I've got Ed, who's very reluctantly agreed to be on camera, so he's going to talk us through the workshop a little bit. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a tour as well, and we're going to catch up with Ed because he's got two really special minis here that I cannot wait to show you. So, let's go and have a look. Now, before we catch up with Ed, I asked him, could I give you guys a bit of a tour around the workshop? And he said yes, thank goodness. And it's quite exciting to show you, really, because it's very different to when I first came. So I know even when I bought Jill, the office was downstairs. It's now upstairs with the sister company, ADO Equipment, which we're going to talk to you about as well, because it's not just Little Garage Classics based here. And it's so exciting to be able to show you some of these cars, because it's a garage that for many people might invoke memories of when they were younger. They're working garages themselves, taking their cars in. It's not really like any of the garages that you might take your modern car to. For example, when you want to come and see things done, Ed's quite happy to show you. Anyway, I absolutely love it at Little Garage Classics, and everyone I know that has used LGC has been back. They've said good things about it. So I wanted to show you guys this garage because for me, Ed's an absolute expert in what he does, and I wanted to give a recommendation as well because I've been using this garage an awful long time. And I said to Ed, I said, look, I want to put you in my vlog. I want to feature you, and he agreed, thank goodness. So now we're very lucky to have a tour around this amazing time walk garage, and there's probably tools, machinery, equipment that modern mechanics have never used because it's not applicable to modern cars. So now we've had a quick whistle stop tour. Ed's going to show us two of his favourite minis in the workshop today. As part of the little garage tour, I said to Ed, pick out 2 of your favourite cars. And the first car he said was the Innocenti Mini. And he said, I've got to talk about this on camera. It's amazing. So at first I didn't realise when I saw it last week what was special about it, because I'm not a big Mini fan, but this is something special. So as we look around, you'll notice that it looks a little bit different from the normal Mini. So I'm going to ask Ed to pop on camera and tell us what's so special about this Italian Mini.
So this is our 1971 Innocenti Morris Mini Minor, which is the base model car that Innocenti used to provide, just being an 850. Quite a lot of differences between this car and a UK car, which I will point out to you some of them now. The first obvious difference being left-hand drive, and of course the interior of the car is quite different. The UK cars only having a single central speedometer, whereas this one has the oil and fuel gauges and water temperature gauge combined in it as well. Things such as opening rear windows, quarter light windows in the front are also an Italian feature. There are side repeaters to the wings. The trim is stainless, including the grille. The headlamp rings are a different shape, and at the back of the car there is a difference in the boot lid pressing and the number plate light as well, with a square number plate there and a different type of number plate light. The cars were built under licence in Milan, as opposed to being built in the UK and then exported, which kind of gave Innocenti the option to do what they wanted, which is why these differences came out, which is a lot of sort of nice little Italian flair style touches, which make this car so unique. It's also very rare to see one in this base model 850 form, because a lot of the Coopers were imported to the UK simply because of, you know, their provenance of being Coopers and the specifications that they had. So it's nice to see such a nice original base model car, which is quite rare to see in the country, which we have here.
Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Minis, they're not my favourite classics, but if there's anyone who can inspire me to be enthusiastic about the humble Mini, it's definitely Ed. And he said to me, we have got to feature this South African Mini. And I said, how have you got a South African Mini here? And he said, well, I found it via Portugal. So essentially he bought it off somebody in Portugal who drove it all the way from South Africa back to Portugal, which is absolutely nuts. And I love little stories like that, because if you think about it, even shipping it alone would be a big task, but driving it, incredible. So let's talk to Ed about this amazing South African Mini.
So this is our 1968 Mark II Austin Cooper. We bought this car from Portugal, but the car is originally from South Africa, and we have the original dealer plate, which is a nice thing to have. The car is so original, we have tried very hard not to replace anything if we can help it. So all the suspension and front subframes and everything is all original that we've refurbished ourselves. The brake master cylinders have been refurbished. We've just tried to keep as much as we can because the car was in such good condition when we got it. All we had to do was weld on 2 sills, a rear valance and a door skin. We've just tried to keep it how it would have left the factory, and as much of the original factory equipment as we can. Obviously things like some of the brake parts and things you have to replace due to age and things like that. But yeah, this is a really quite a special car for us, and we're really looking forward to finishing the restoration very soon and getting it out on the road.
Now that we've had a catch up with Ed about some of the amazing Minis they've got in at Little Garage Classics, I thought we'd sit down with him, find out what Jill's have for MOT, and find out a little bit about Little Garage Classics and ADO equipment.
Hi guys, I'm Ed. I run Little Garage Classics and ADO Equipment Limited. So my story is, when I was about 14 years old, my uncle retired and he wanted a retirement project. So he ended up buying a Mini for myself and him to sort of get involved with and do some work on. The idea was it was meant to be for my sister when she was 17, but we took so long doing it that she got bored and bought her own car, so it ended up being mine. And well, your first car is your first love, isn't it? So I've just had classic cars and minis ever since. I started working for a Rolls-Royce restoration company when I finished university, which sort of put my foot in the door for restoring cars and working on cars. I then rented a unit from that company for my own personal projects, which sort of developed into a business with people asking me to do work for them and welding and things like that. And so I've been running Little Garage Classics for 7 years now. So here at Little Garage Classics, we focus on body restoration work, mainly minis, but we'll do any BMC, Austin Rover Classic. We do dabble with the occasion Italian car here and there, but mainly focusing on full restorations of minis, full strip downs, strip the body shell down, replace anything that needs replacing, paint the cars, trim them, refit them, and then the customers give them back a fully running MOT car ready to go. We've got a couple of nice cars downstairs at the moment. We've got a Cooper S, which belongs to a customer of ours that we did a Riley L4. We've got a nice Frog Iron that the body's just been finished on, that's due for paint soon. And we've got an early 60s Mini coming back from the body shop anytime now, ready to build up. We do the odd bit of servicing work here and there as well, but mainly focusing on fabrication, welding, body restoration. So ADO Equipment Limited is a new company I started this year, simply because at Little Garage I was getting asked a lot of the time for parts for cars, people ringing me up, people sending emails. So I started ADO as a company, and we basically restore and refurbish original parts. So we don't have any cheap Chinese reproduction parts. We don't sell anything that we haven't already tested. Like at Little Garage, I know which suppliers I can buy from with confidence. So we basically stock quality original parts for your classic cars, mainly minis, but again we do stock quite a large variety of stuff, from various things from marinas down to Allegros and even Morris Minors and midgets and things like that. We also supply good quality oil, which is manufactured in the UK to really good specification. We also supply a specific classic mini oil, which has a gearbox additive, especially for if your engine and gearbox share the same oil. We do greases and other sun dries and things like that, which you can keep in your garage for your own restorations. And that's basically it.
Guys, so if you didn't know already and you've only been following me for a short while, Jill, my Metro, actually was sold to me by Ed, and there's no one else really in this world that I would trust to work on her. So I mean, the bill this time has been quite expensive, but I think, do you know what? If you fall in love with a car and you look at the cost of running a modern car, why would you give up on a car that you love so much and is so reliable? And since I bought Jill 2 years ago, I've done 35,000, so stupid. I've done 35,000 miles in Jill. So I thought, because the bill has been quite high this time, but again, I don't mind, because Ed has done 3 solid days of work on her, which is incredible, especially who spends that much for the Metro in 2019. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I thought I'd turn the camera back on Ed so that he can talk us through the work that he's done on Jill, how he found Jill, and why she's just as special to him as she is to me.
So I found Jill, I think it was on Facebook, and she was due to be scrapped. Her engine had been taken out for a Mini, and the owner basically was trying to find somebody to take her away for scrap value, or the car would have been scrapped. So my good friend Sam and I drove down to London to rescue Jill, with a view of getting her back on the road. And when we brought her back to Little Garage Classics, Steph came to visit and instantly fell in love with Jill. So we ended up building Jill to spec, knowing that Steph was going to use her quite regularly. We fitted a 1275 engine, and did quite a lot of work to the car to get it through its first MOT in a long time. Since then, we've just been doing regular servicing, regular maintenance that you would with any classic car. But this time, with it being a couple of years since Jill's been on the road, we've looked at some issues which are more preventative than curing the car. Things like the calipers were a bit sticky and getting a little bit seized here and there, so we've replaced the calipers with new calipers. We've refurbished the CV joints, replaced the CV boots, steering rack boots, and a few brake pipes which looked a little bit iffy, which probably would have been all right, but things like brakes, it's always better to be preventative than find out that one day you're pressing your brake pedal and there's nothing happening. So yeah, quite a bit of work on Jill this time, but definitely up and ready for the next 35,000 miles.
Now, before I shoot off in Jill, and I'm absolutely dying to, because I'm so happy to have her back, I had to show you ADO equipment upstairs. So this is the parts company that Ed was talking about that he runs, and it's a great little layout in here actually. So thought I'd give you guys a tour as I say goodbye to you. I hope that you've enjoyed the vlog today. It's been very different for me. It's not something that I usually do. As you know, it's usually show reviews and car reviews, but I talk about Jill all the time with you guys, and especially as well, a lot of you say to me, where do you take your car? Who does all the complicated work on the car for you? So I thought it was only high time that I gave Ed a little bit of credit for all the amazing work he's done on Jill from the day that he found her to, well, today really, because that's when he finished her. Now, she's going in for MOT on Monday, as I said, so don't forget to check out my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. She goes in for MOT 2:30 on Monday, so if you're watching the video today when it's uploaded, that is tomorrow. So Monday the 30th of September is when she's going in for her MOT. For those of you that don't know what an MOT is, it's basically a test of roadworthiness which cars go through every year. But that doesn't mean that you should rest on your laurels. Everything should be checked regularly, serviced regularly, and especially with cars as old as this, because some parts on your car are going to be that little bit older, so you should always be far more conscientious than you probably should be with a modern car. So it's time for me to head off now, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed the vlog today. It's a different approach for me. It's a different approach for IDRIVEACLASSIC, and I hope you've enjoyed it. So until next time, take care and drive safely.